How's it going, YouTubers? This is Bear Claw again. I've got some vodka and some homemade rum that I want to show you, and a beer that I'm kind of impressed with, even though it's your mainstream beer. Let's start out with vodka. It's called Crystal Head Vodka. Comes in this cool bottle here. As you can see, looks pretty cool. If you haven't tried it yet, I highly recommend it. I know it's kind of pricey, but so is some of the beers that we try. So, first, when you try this, you get the appropriate shot glass. That's a skull shot glass. And you want to smell it. And this has a really nice smell to it, compared to all the other vodkas. Vodkas are not supposed to have any smell whatsoever. It's supposed to be a neutral spirit. And this is made in Canada. And it's made off of one of their little islands there. I forget the name of it. Just says product of Canada, but on the box it said what island it's from. I also watched the video. If you don't watch, you should watch the video with Dan Aykroyd. He's the creator of this vodka. And right after that, I kind of smell citrus notes, you know, just ever so slightly. It kind of has kind of tricks your tongue into thinking that it's fizzy, and it's only because most vodka is around 80 proof. This is 90 proof vodka. It's got a really nice flavor to it if you want your vodka to taste like something. Like I said again, most vodkas don't taste like anything. It's the way they distill it. It strips all the flavor away. But according to Dan Aykroyd, this was distilled an old way. And I think it's because it's distilled once and then it's filtered several times. This is filtered through charcoal, but it's also filtered through crystal, these little crystal diamonds. And there's a whole long story behind the crystal heads and the 13 crystal skulls and stuff. And that's what inspired this. I'm not going to get into it. It's kind of interesting because I like skulls and stuff. It's really some interesting stuff. But I mainly was interested in the bottle itself, and looking on the internet and how much bottles are like this. You can't even get one this quality for $25. So it was well worth it. I get to try the spirit, and then when it's done, I can put some of my own liquor inside of it. So. Oh, and cheers, Lee. Thanks for pulling my name out of the hat. I won a contest from one of my other subscribers, which I will do a video on before. But Lee knows what I'm talking about. Pretty cool. And we're going to set this aside right here. Next is going to be some homemade rum that I've been making. This is real rum. This is not moonshine. This is not whiskey. This is rum. This is distilled from the darkest brown sugar I could get. I distilled it And this is what it looks like after it's distilled. This is 150 proof right here. Now, the difference between this and my other stuff is that this is made from brown sugar and molasses and yeast and honey. And it's distilled. It's fermented, then distilled. And then after that, then you can make dark rum. You can make light colored rum. But you can sure tell. This is kind of like a Bacardi white, but it's better because it's homemade. I can tell I'm going to get a pretty good buzz today. That's 150. It just cleaned everything off my tongue completely. Now we have, this is the same stuff, but it's cut down to 90 proof. Boy, that just keeps warming you up as you go down. This is 90 proof, and I like 90 proof because this stuff is so smooth that all it does is warm you up. Okay? If you don't keep it at just a little higher, just above 80 proof, you're not going to get that tongue burn that you're used to. This one here I made with caramel, burnt caramel, and I think that's about it. That's all I put in this one, just burnt caramel. Which makes a light rum. If you like that caramel flavored rum, this is a good one for you. You can get caramel syrup at the grocery store. It's a lot easier than trying to make it on your stove. I've ruined a few pans trying to make it myself. I finally gave up and decided to start just buying it in a concentrated syrup, and just a little bit goes a long ways. So you gotta do it to taste. Everybody's different. Just a little hint of caramel in that. And you can notice how it really changed the color from white to brown there. Now, this was my pirate rum that I concocted from doing research on the internet of what they put in it, like in Tortuga and other places where they made it. Now, the reason why Jamaican rum was created was to take a crappy spirit, that was made from sugar cane, and it was very crudely distilled. And I'm sure a lot of people probably got sick from it. But when you add spices and stuff to it, it probably kept a lot of people from getting sick. This has molasses, and it has allspice, and it had a cinnamon stick in it, and that's why it's so dark. What else did I put in there? And I put some cloves in there too. And I let it sit in there, and then I strained it. And then, of course, I had to cut it down because, I don't know, it was just a little too strong for me. The flavor was just, pour this stuff on pancakes, It's wonderful stuff. You can see, that looks like. See, then again, if you like dark rum, you like the flavor of molasses, you know, like Myers rum or Kraken. This is more like a Kraken rum. Except Kraken, they put something in there to make it really black. It's probably an artificial flavor, which will give you a hangover. But anyway, cheers to you. Cheers to you, Lee. Now, for my next one, it's going to be Black Star beer. And I was just kind of looking, it was a hot day, and I was looking for something to quench my thirst, and all my homebrew was gone. So I grabbed this, and it says it's a double hopped beer, double hopped lager. And that's what I've got lagering right now is a lager. It's a Pilsner. And so it's going to be a long time before I even get any good beer out of it. But I want you to look at this because this is relatively cheap beer. I think it was $4.99 a six-pack. And it's a beautiful beer. And those of you who are just done with the Coors Light thing or the Bud Light and everything else, or just Budweiser and all those other beers that you started out on, you want something with taste. This is a really good beer. Now look at that. It's almost like a homebrew the way that little snowstorm is going off there. It's just a beautiful beer. And when it says double hop, I expected a huge hop aroma, but there's enough for you to smell. It has a really good mouthfeel, but there's no aftertaste. You don't have that huge aftertaste. As you can see, the carbonation is just excellent carbonation. Just the way I like it. I like lots of carbonation. This is really good beer for pizza and chips and stuff. So I highly recommend that. Hope you guys have been enjoying my videos. I'm trying to mix it up, do a little different stuff. I'm going to get back with you because when my package comes from Lee, all the way from Australia to the United States, I want to do an opening for that. And then I'll tell you the story behind the whole contest, those of you who don't know about the contest that I entered. And anyway, cheers to you, and watch your top knot, and keep that powder dry because you know what? Your pistol's not going to go off if it's wet. And I'll see you next time on YouTube.